Greetings, everyone. Welcome to UBD Understanding by Design Workshop. My name is Esteban Benitez, and I will be the instructor for this workshop. To help you understand a little bit about what UBD really is, I will be going over the three main stages of design process. These stages are meant to be helpful, that have very many helpful tools, and also design standards that you, as the instructor, will begin to build upon and create at the end a very robust, understandable lesson plan that that you'll be able to share with your students. Now, there has been a lot of people or professionals out there that may not agree with this type of understanding by design to be able to be implemented into your curriculum planning. However, once we're done with this workshop, I am pretty sure that you will have your own thoughts about it, and you might even find it more easy to create a lesson plan based off of this. And I hope that you enjoy it and you learn a lot from it, and in a sense, put it into play. So let's get started with stage one. In stage one, we will identify desired results. So let's get started. In the first section of desired results, you have your course and unit summary. This is where you're going to start building sense of your course and your unit as well. So under course, you will put your discipline or subject in this section, along with the class name and number, class time frame that you plan on teach, the grade level, and relevant keywords, the district and university or organization, as well as a school department and or corporation. Types of school or organization is a public school, private school, charter, corporation, training method, or any other type of organization that you're building this unit for. Next, you will indicate the textbooks that you will be using for that course or that unit. List in any and all that you feel that will be part of this unit. You will also provide links to online resource material that your students will be able to use, to utilize, and be very helpful. Unit title, you will be putting here your unit time frame, where does a unit fit into the class, as well as unit delivery. Will it be face-to-face? Will it be blended? Will it be online? Or any other format that you have an idea of what exactly, how you plan on delivering this unit. Why are you developing this unit course is next. You put in the course project. If you plan on teaching the course, if you're developing a course for team building and development, the time frame that you will be teaching, as well as the level of expertise. Next section will be your unit summary, and this basically is just an overview. Simple words. You will put exactly what your unit is about, and brief description. Please, just kind of make it easy. Don't make it too teacherly. Teacherly sometimes can be taken as too boring or not very enthusiastic. You have to put this into into simple words that an 8-year-old can read. The next part would be your big idea. Okay, so this is what we talked about. Well, not really talked about. This is one of the things that I mentioned right in the prior to this is that your unit is all going to be revolved around a big idea. This is an inspirational it's an inspirational goal that you have to put together to make sure that throughout your um, your course that you're building, this big idea is the central, if you want to call it, the central mainframe of it, and this is where students will feel like they actually are shooting towards a goal. So this is where you put your basically your big idea. Professional organization for content. Now you're going to have to look into what you have to do a little bit of research and see what type of organization you're going to be using to be able to get their competencies and standards that would be required for this course. Now, I recommend that you do a lot of research as far as your educational, some educational uh, websites have these standards and requirements for the course that you could utilize. So I recommend that you actually do a lot of research on that so you can get it right. Once you do that, you will put the URL here, and you will put the URL for the competencies. Now these sometimes can be separate, and most likely will be separate, because over here you will put the actual URL for the organization. That organization might have different types of subjects or topics, or it might have different subjects to teach. So just make sure that the URL for that is here, and then it will indicate the URL for the competencies here that you will be utilizing. Okay. Next up, it will be your professional organization number 2. If there's more than one, again, you would put it in the same manner as you did with the first one. The next section would be standards and competencies. This is where you have already done your research, you have already seen where your codes are, and here you will be able to implement those codes, followed by what exactly are the standards and or competencies that go hand in hand with that specific code. Okay, these are very important because you will be utilizing that to make a connection between everything that you're going to be organizing and making sure that everything lines up in a way that is within standard, so that when you're teaching, everything kind of has a ultimate goal, which is the big idea. The next section is transfer. In this part of it, you will put, this is where you start plugging in your transfer code. Usually would be whatever code is how you have indicated over here, followed by things that students need to be able to do in the future. If they're outside, they've graduated, whatever. This is the information that you have taught that they will be taking and putting into the real world. Okay, so over here you will put your transfer code followed by your competencies. Your competency codes will go on the right side, and usually what's going to happen is you will start off writing your transfer sentence by students will be able to use their learning independently to, and then you complete that. So T here, T number 1, the T would stand basically for transfer. This is basically your transfer code, and then your competencies code will go over here. Now if you recall, your competencies code is the same code that you feel will connect this statement with the standards that you have developed, put together to that fall within standards of the professional organization that you chose. Okay, so that would be in this section. The next section would be meaning. This is an understanding idea result. You analyze your students' learning, and then you generalize it, and you will be able to put that in a form of a question that basically is a question within a question. Now, these questions are open-ended. They're meant to bring curiosity out of the student. They're not no right or wrong questions. They don't, they're meant to make the student think outside the box. They're meant to create controversy. discussion and develop a higher grade of thinking on other solutions to those questions. Maybe somebody might not agree with some of what the question is about, and go along and beyond to actually research more into it. So again, your uh, essential questions code would go on the left side, followed by your question. Now it is very important that you start off your question by put in a form of a question, obviously. So make sure that you do that. And then on the right side, you will be still adding your competency codes. Sometimes you can put one code, it could be multiple codes, all of which you feel align with this essential question. Okay, the next section is understanding, which is the code for that would be the U. In this section, you want students, this is where what do you want students to understand at the end of the unit? What do you want them to leave out of that unit upon completion and saying, I understood this X, Y, and Z. This is very, very important. So again, on the left side, this is where you put your U code. U would be for understanding. You will put your question, you will put your statement in the middle. Not really a question, it would be a statement. And your statement should always start off by students will understand that, and then complete your statement. And make sure that you add your competency code to the right. It is very important that you always put your competencies code. Okay. The next section would be acquisitions. This is basically just like in the short term, what type of knowledge do you expect your students to have at the end of the unit? What students should be able to remember, things like that you feel that that this unit, upon their completion, that they'll be able to out in the real world, and without not have you there anymore, but yet if they're presented with a specific task, that they will know. So again, your code will be on the left side, followed by always add students will know, followed by your statement. Whether it's they will know how to develop a PowerPoint, whether you feel that students will know how to, construct a pyramid of information, or an Excel sheet, or whatever. That's where you will be putting here in the middle, followed by your competency code. Now make sure that your competency codes are all lining up with its specific to previous, your understanding the essential questions and all that. Now everything has to connect at the end, so make sure you keep that in mind. The next would be the skills. Now this is like the type of skills that you expect your students or your staff that you will be teaching to be able to take with them. This is like something that will develop over time. However, you've already planted that skill seed within them to help develop as they go along and do real life work. So again, on the left side, you will indicate the skills code, followed by a statement, which your statement should start off by students will be skilled at, and then complete the sentence. Now, your competencies code, again, will be on the right side, and it must align with that statement you have provided in this area here. Okay. All right. Well, that concludes stage 1, and always remember that we're shooting for the big idea here, And as we go along, we will figure out how all this connects, and hopefully help you understand more about how UBD can be utilized to build your curriculum even better.